has been some time since we've done something that is not the podcast.
Whoa, you mean to tell me that this is content that isn't our usual podcast we put out?
This is what you might call variety.
Oh, variety?
Variety.
Variety.
We're having variety in our content.
I.e., something different from what we normally put out.
And this is very different because this is a Hollywood movie.
Yeah, we are verified Hollywood movie reviewers now.
Yeah, we are Hollywood critics.
Throw money at us to tell us your movie's good, even if we don't have to watch it.
Yeah, so we are talking Alita Battle Angel.
A movie we did actually see.
Yeah, we watched it.
No one paid us to either.
We actually paid to watch it.
Yeah, if anything, we're out money to do this.
We're out money because of this.
But you know what? It was pretty cool.
It was a cool movie. Was it the greatest thing I've ever seen?
Nope.
No. Was it better than I expected?
Maybe.
Yeah. Also, the bar for anime movies is so fucking low that it's very hard to just not clear that.
It's really hard to be a trash anime. Like, you have to try to be super bad because there's just so much garbage already there that we don't expect anything to be good.
And this was done by Robert Rodriguez, the fucking Spy Kids man.
Yeah, he made another Spy Kids movie that had a lot of cold-blooded murder in it. Like, there's a lot of people who just get straight up murked in this movie.
There are a lot of scenes in it, too, where I felt like, hey, it's like Spy Kids 3D, where it's telling me to put on my 3D glasses.
Yeah.
Even though I wasn't watching it in 3D. Just because, like, there's a lot of slow parts where something was flying at the screen.
Yeah, I feel like there were parts of it that were definitely designed with 3D in mind.
And Robert Rodriguez was just sitting there like, this would be so much better in 3D.
This would be so amazing in 3D. Why didn't they give me the budget to 3D?
I want to 3D this movie.
And they were like, Robbie, we don't have the budget for 3D. We can't just do that. We can't just make everything 3D, Robert Rodriguez.
He's like, James Cameron's producing this. Avatar, like, started the 3D trend.
Yeah, well, maybe he wants to do something different, and James Cameron's just like...
I just threw money at it. I don't know what's going on.
Someone told me there was cool special effects, so I just threw tons of money at it. I don't know what James Cameron sounds like.
I don't either.
I'm going to go with something kind of like this.
Is he British?
I don't know. Maybe. He investigated the Titanic and went down in a sub.
Maybe we should talk about the actual movie and not, like, the meta surrounding the movie.
We probably should do at least a little bit of talking about the movie.
Full disclosure, we have not read the manga.
Correct. I have no idea what the manga entails.
So, sorry.
Sorry, nerds.
So, yeah, I guess we're going to come at this with a fresh perspective.
Yeah. It was cool. And the special effects were real good. We meet I would say, genuinely strong female protagonist.
Yeah, she's a strong female protagonist, and it doesn't need to, like, hammer that in.
Yeah, she
in fact,
just
nothing
is.
about her being a girl really matters.
Exactly.
Because she's a fucking cyborg.
Which is what... I feel like that's the thing that everyone sort of fucks up when they want to do a strong female protagonist.
It's like the fact that she's a girl really needs to be emphasized, where it's better when it's just she just is.
Yeah,
she's a badass. It's not because she's a girl that she's a badass, or in spite of the fact she's a girl she's a badass. She just is a badass.
We wrote a badass character who just happens to be a girl.
Yeah.
So take that, Ghostbusters. Eat a dick.
Yeah.
Alita is pretty cool. We get our strong cyborg character. We get... How deep do we want to go into plot with this? We should have talked about this before.
Yeah, we didn't discuss it, but again, that's how we function. We don't really plan things.
We just kind of do them.
We do.
We do them.
Are we going to give, like, a full plot synopsis?
I don't think we should give a full plot synopsis. I think we should hit on, like, a couple key points in the movie.
I guess, like a rough outline is the movie opens with Alita getting found in a scrapyard by our by the doctor.
Our good friend
Dr. Ito?
Yeah, Dr. like Damon Ito or something like
Dr.
that.
Ito.
Christoph Waltz.
Who is Christoph Waltz. I'm the author of all your pain, James.
I'm the author of all your pain. But not as bad.
Yeah, he is, he's basically a repairman for, cyborgs and...
He's a robot doctor.
Yeah.
He fixes people up. And he's super nice about it, and people give him oranges occasionally.
Yeah, because he doesn't charge a lot of people, because he knows everyone down here is poor.
Yeah.
The whole world is set up where there was this big war that happened, and the only place left is this floating city and the crappy underbelly beneath it, where everyone's stuck down there.
That builds itself on the scrap, the detritus of the floating city.
Yeah. If this was an analogy for class, then...
we'd need Doug Billingham.
Yeah.
So he just finds her, and he basically fixes her up.
And he almost makes her like a surrogate daughter, because he gives her his daughter's body. He even calls her his dead daughter's name.
But it's his wife that really hasn't moved on.
Yeah.
Who shows up in like a very obvious, oh, this person is working with the bad guys, because she's wearing nice clothes. She's got the black theme going on,
and she crushes a bug immediately,
and then just fucking leaves the glove behind that she crushed it with. She's like, ew, that's disgusting. I'll just leave that and go buy another glove.
Yeah. I'm assuming no one's watching this to learn if they should watch the movie, so it's like if you've already seen the movie. So, because I'm like, oh man, I don't want to go through every single plot point of it. But yeah, there's,
yeah, we'd be here for a little bit.
Yeah, and also it'd be us like, oh, what happened again? Alright, yeah, this. But yeah,
we're just gonna run through it.
You meet a romantic interest, this guy Hugo, he's the total bad boy with a motorcycle unicycle.
Yeah, he has a big motorized unicycle, which is actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
But you can tell based on his bandana that he wears on his head and the leather jacket that he wears on his back. He's a bad boy, and he doesn't play by anybody's rules but his own.
And the doctor goes out every night, and Alita decides to follow him because she hears that there's been murders around.
And he wears a freaking black leather hat and black duster jacket, which is like, and a big case, big old case.
Yeah, so she thinks, oh shit,
he's the murderer. He's been murdering people.
So she follows him, and he's following some girl, and you think, oh, is he gonna go murder this girl?
It's a red herring moment.
Yep, but turns out, no, that girl's actually bad, and she's with a bunch of other bad cyborgs, and they're all trying to kill him.
I loved the shit out of Crazy Dude, like the skinny guy.
The dude that gets murked right away?
Yeah, I liked his character a lot, and then he died, and I was a little bit bummed because I would have been kind of happy with him coming back. Instead of just, oh, I'm large, and I am angry, and I smash things.
Yeah. But... yeah, so they get attacked, and he tells Alita to, like, stay back and hide, and right as it looks like he's about to get killed, turns out Alita can kick the shit out of these guys.
She is a combat droid. She murks the shit out of, Spider... I'll call her Spider Girl, because she, like... There is a point... Like, she throws off her coat, and she's got these, like, cybernetic freaking scythe arms, and I was like, oh, she's gonna crawl on walls at some point.
And she crawled on the wall.
She full-on, like, leaps back into a corner and just, like, hoists herself up there and actually hisses at Alita, and I was like, oh, so they're just going with it. And then Alita kicks her head so hard into a metal door.
Into the wall while the rest of the body just collapses.
She decapitates this lady.
I just want to say, I feel like Ito's weapon does not suit him. Like, he
No.
always seems to be struggling to use it. Basically, he has, like, sort of like a big hammer scythe-like thing.
It's like a big war pick with a rocket attached to the back.
And it always looks like he's having... It's really long, too. And he always looks like he's having a hard time holding it.
I feel like this is like a weird steampunk bloodborne weapon.
Yeah.
Where it's almost impractical.
Actually, every time I would see Ito, I'm like, Ito gives me a Bloodborne vibe.
That's
like
what
a cyberpunk Bloodborne character.
That's what I was getting as well.
Because he's got the duster, the hat, and his weapon is just, he has to like transform it out of like a case, and it's just really big and cumbersome
and pretty unwieldy. And he's even part of a sect of people known as hunter warriors, who are basically bounty hunters.
Yeah, because apparently they don't really give a shit about police in this.
There are
they're sentry robots. Yeah, that's it. And the
giant sentry robots.
And the criminals that are too smart for the robots to catch, they have hunter warriors collect them for bounty.
To be totally honest, it doesn't seem really hard to like outmaneuver or outsmart those sentry robots.
No, and they also don't look like they could fit in small places like indoors or anything.
Yeah. You could thwart those robots by going inside.
And after Alita finds out that she can fight, she's like, I want to be a hunter warrior like you. And he's like, no, I'm your father. Please don't do this.
That's not good. Don't be like me.
And then she's like, you're not my dad. And then she goes out and joins it anyway.
Yeah.
And then she goes immediately to the hunter warrior bar. And Hugo's like, hey, this isn't a good idea. This is where all the bounty hunters hang out.
Because there's a third guy who shows up in that first encounter. And he's like, I'm large. And she kicks his arm off with like a sweet-ass flying axe kick.
Yeah, and he runs away. And it turns out he's working for the main bad guys. The main bad guy of this movie, technically, I guess, is the guy who he's Cottonmouth in Luke Cage.
Yeah,
I don't remember his name.
Mahershala Ali.
Yeah,
if I'm pronouncing that correctly, which I probably am not.
He plays the character Victor, who he kind of runs the.
I think his name is Vector.
Vector. He runs the motorball.
Because it's cyberpunk.
Right. He runs the motorball place, which is like their main sport, where. Again, because it's a sci-fi setting or dystopia, every sport's going to be like this huge death game thing where it's like, yeah, we watch them blow each other up or smash each other. It's great.
Let's watch big robot cyberpunk people smash the shit out of each other over a ball that they get into like a...
I think the sport, it like looks like it's a race where you just have to have the ball when you like go over the finish or something, but everyone just smashes each other to grab it.
Yeah.
With weapons to the point where it's like, hey,
this is just fight. Just let them fight.
Yeah, make it a fight at that point, because it's some of the. There's even one part where one guy uses a weapon and they're like, is that even legal? Where I'm like, fucking apparently.
I guess so. No one seems to say anything.
I think they should come up with a rule and regulation sort of deal with this, because, you know.
You would think if you had a single sport as like your major sport, you would think up like at least a couple rules to it instead of
so you don't break it.
Yeah, instead of just having like, fuck it, you can do whatever. Who cares?
Yeah, and you learn that
we're a dystopia.
Hugo is a scrapper.
Yeah,
he basically steals parts off of people because he works for Vector.
Because he needs money. Because everyone wants to get into the floating city.
Yeah, that's the whole deal with this.
And I think it's actually kind of funny because there's one point where the Christoph Waltz's wife is like, hey, I'm gonna get back to the floating city, and that's sort of her deal with Vector.
Yeah.
And there's one point where they're talking and she's like, how do you get Hugo to, sell out his girlfriend for you? And Cottonmouth is just like, well, he doesn't outright say it, but he says in a mocking fashion, I told him I would get him to Eris or whatever the city is.
I think it's Zant something. It starts with a Z.
Xantarum.
Yeah, I think it's Xantarum.
I don't know. Something like that. But I told him I would get him to the city. And I was like, you shouldn't brag about how you lied to someone about something when you told the person behind you the same exact thing.
Yeah.
That's not smart.
And I think she realizes at that point, too, which is why she kind of does like a 180 flip near the end.
Yeah, she does a hero flip.
But before that, yeah.
We have skipped around a lot.
We have skipped around a lot. That's our style here. So if you haven't seen this movie, if you haven't seen the movie, don't watch this. This isn't good. Like, it's not going to help you.
Yeah, but like, watch it anyway.
I mean, yeah, you're pretty far in. You're like almost 15 minutes in. You committed.
Yeah.
So she goes back to she goes to the bar where all the bounty hunters hang out at because one of the main bad guys, the big dude that got away when she first found out she could fight, his name is Ganishka.
Yeah, something like that.
And she wants to get the other bounty hunters to help take down him, and they only care about money, so none of them give a fuck.
Yeah, it's actually, I really kind of enjoyed this scene because, like...
Yeah, she's trying to give them, like, a heroic speech about why they should care.
All of these people that she just met today, and she's like, my brothers, my hunter warrior brothers. And I was like, you literally just met these people.
Also, you filled out the paperwork today, so you only just became a hunter.
You haven't even done anything. You haven't collected anything yet.
Just on paper, she's a hunter.
And she also gets the leather jacket, which I guess is like if you want to be a hunter, you gotta wear leather. You need some kind of leather device on you. But we get introduced to douchey bounty hunter.
Yeah.
Douchey pretty boy.
Douchey pretty boy with a sword. His whole shtick is he has a sword.
And he's douchey. And he basically shows her everyone in the room and is like, he has everyone else's gimmicks as I introduce them. And you have, like...
Guy with dogs.
Man with dogs.
To be honest, he's the only one you need to pay attention to.
Yeah.
Rest of them don't matter.
Actually, Screwhead comes back later.
Oh, yeah, she shows up during the race.
And so does Japanese man. That's his thing.
Yeah.
He is a Japanese man. And Screwhead, and I bet you can guess what her gimmick is. She has a screw in her head.
Yep.
It's
thoughtful. It's real thoughtful. But yeah, she goes there, tries to rally them, and they all basically shit on her that they don't care. And then she basically calls out the pretty boy dude for being a pretty boy, and they're like, "Are you gonna take that?" And they're all laughing at him. And then he goes to like hit her, and she just punches him into a wall.
She wrecks his absolute shit, and it's great.
And then a bar fight starts.
Yep.
And then I did like this scene where Ito comes in, and he's walking in. You can tell, again, I don't know why he has this weapon, because he looks like he's struggling to like hold it as he's running in, and he shouts to all of them, "Everyone stop, or no more free repairs!"
And that works.
And they all just stop.
Dead silence in that moment, because everyone's like, oh shit, no more free repairs? But I need those.
And then he's trying to convince her to come home, and she's like, no. And then after, conveniently, Ganushka shows up right at that moment.
Yep, the bad guy literally walks in, and he kills some random dude who's like, what did they do to Ganishka? And then he just fucking kills that guy. And he's like, that's what they did.
And you want to know Ganishka's bad? There's this puppy that's been following Alita around the whole movie. And then he kills the puppy there.
Kills the puppy.
So you know he's bad.
And it actually does cut to the Houndmaster guy, like...
The guy with the robot dogs, and he looks like
he's visibly restraining tears at that moment. Is pretty good.
And then he breaks a hole in the ground. He's like, come fight me in my world.
And she does.
And she jumps down there.
I would also like to mention there's one bounty hunter in the background that I could not take my eyes off of. It was a man who was dressed like a World War I soldier on leave, and I don't know why, but I was captivated by this man.
I didn't even notice him.
It felt like a reference to something, but I couldn't figure out what it was. Because he looked like a World War I soldier with like a spiky belt, and I was like, who is he?
Yeah, I didn't even notice him.
Why do I notice this person? Because like the extras in this movie are kind of great at points. Because there's one moment where she's just walking with Hugo, and they're just talking.
I mean, I'm sure this is a movie where if you read the manga, there's probably a ton of Easter eggs for you.
Probably. But, like, there's just a woman in the background who looks like she just walked in off the street. She's just wearing, like, designer jeans and, like, a blue and white flannel. And she's just animatedly talking to a merchant or something. And I was like, the extras in this movie know what's up.
I didn't pay a lot of attention to a lot of the extras, but that's probably because I was sitting in the back row and I realized how bad my eyesight has become. Where I'm like, oh man, I really got to update my like contacts soon because I don't see very good.
Yeah, it's kind of important. It's
And
something you might want to get checked out.
yeah, so I need an eye appointment.
Yep.
That's what I learned from this movie. I need an eye appointment. Anyway, so they jump down into the hole, and it looks like she's doing okay for a while, but he fucks her up.
Yeah, because he has like this weird.
Yeah,
it's
because
basically
Hugo basically stripped, because his thing is stealing body parts basically.
Yeah.
And he stole from one of the like death. What's it called again? Death ball. I forgot about it. I mentioned it earlier.
It's like rollerball or something stupid like that.
One of the professional athletes, they stole his claw thing because he's got this like retractable claw that like shoots out the fingers.
It shoots out freaking scorpion razor fingers and can like shred people.
And he basically shreds Alita. Yep. And it looks like she's fucked. But then Ito and Hugo show up, and the hounds actually show up too.
Yeah.
And they chase him off, and the hound guy is like, he wasn't a dog lover.
I can't stand that. And it's so amazing that he just shows up and is like, that guy wasn't a hound lover. Like, what? Okay.
And earlier in the film, they found on this abandoned Mars. Apparently, the war from before was between Earth and Mars.
Because of course it is.
Yeah, and they found Mars technology on the ship, and it's like a suit, and apparently, or like a body. And he explains to her the truth that she is I think they call the forces of Mars ERN. It stands for like United.
The United. Republic of Mars.
Yeah,
or something like
United
that.
Republic of Mars, and she's an berserker, which is like the most powerful weapon created by the like scientists.
Yeah, it's robot girls.
And he wasn't gonna put her in that body, but after she gets her other one fucked, he's like, okay,
I got no choice now. All right.
And now she's got a super strong body.
Yep, because she's an engineered weapon. A weapon to surpass Metal Gear. So he puts her in the body, and she just kind of goes around. This is the point where the movie focuses a lot on like, hey, it's the romance between Hugo and Alita, and is fine, whatever.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that after.
Yeah.
And turns out the city in the sky is run by this guy named Nova.
Who is Edward Norton.
Yeah, Edward Norton.
In the easiest role I can imagine he's ever gotten.
Basically, most of Nova's role is played by the guy playing Vector because he can possess people, I guess.
Yeah, he's always watching through everyone's eyes through transmission chips. Because I guess everyone has these transmission chips, I guess?
Yeah, from the main city, I think, though.
Yeah.
So he's constantly issuing orders through his puppets. And Alita and Hugo, they focus on the romance, and they both decide they want to, they want to sort of earn money so they can get to the big city together.
We're going to go to the city together.
And Hugo, because, again, they want to destroy Alita, the bad guys, Vector's like, hey, tell me about your girlfriend. And then he convinces him, hey, you should have her participate in the sport.
Yeah, because what could possibly go wrong?
And then Vector goes and hires a bunch of mercenaries, bounty hunters, and criminals to... He's like, hey, bunch of money to anyone who kills this girl, Alita.
Yeah.
And so she goes up onto the field, and everybody is trying to kill her.
Yep.
But she's fucking them all up because she's got a new super bodysuit.
Because she's the main character.
And Hugo, before he gets to go see the match, he goes to go tell his friends that he's out. He's out of the scrapper life.
I'm out. I'm done. That was my last score.
But turns out douchey sword bounty hunter is mad that he got wrecked by Alita, so he's gonna kill Hugo.
Yeah.
As to piss her off.
His master plan is like, if I kill someone, people will think it's Hugo because fuck it.
Because that's how the law works.
Very loosely. So basically, he pins a murder on Hugo and gets a bounty put out on him. Yep,
and he's hunting Hugo down, trying to kill him. Because, I guess dead or alive isn't really a thing. It's just dead. That's fine.
Yeah, just bring us the heads, whatever.
And he calls Alita, and she decides to immediately leave the...
Fuck this, I'm out.
She leaves the race to go try and save Hugo.
And there's a cool sequence where she's being chased around by everyone in the city, and she's fighting the people while also trying to get to Hugo. And
she's
cool.
fucking these guys up, and then she gets to Hugo, and she makes the sword guy back off, and he's like, hey, you can't interfere with that. It's illegal for a bounty hunter to interfere with another bounty hunter. And she's like, he's mine. And he's like, okay, then kill him.
Yeah.
Do it. And then she's like hesitating. He's like, here, I'll show you. And he stabs Hugo in the gut.
And he's like, all right, that'll make it easier for you.
And then she takes his body and runs inside this church, which was like Hugo's hangout spot. And all the police are outside. All the sentries are like, point at like, please bring out the criminal Hugo. Please bring out the criminal Hugo.
They're like the evil robot from RoboCop.
Mm.
The whatever the Rex or something. Drop the gun, dirtbag.
And she's all sad that he's bleeding out and stuff. And then the doctor lady who shows up, and she just does she just switches sides right there where he's like, hey, did you find Alita? And she's like, no.
Nah.
And then she's like, I know how to fix this. They cut off Hugo's head.
And use Alita's heart to keep him alive.
With like a blood transfusion, I guess.
Like,
and
what the fuck is this plan?
And they bring him outside, and they just show the head to the security bots.
And they're like, thank you for your patronage.
And then he realizes, the sword guy's like, wait a second, she's like full bullshitting, and he's going to try to stop her, but they're like, the robots are saying if he interferes, he's technically committing the crime now because it's her bounty. And she's like, yeah. And then she takes the sword and cuts off half of his face.
Yeah, and it looks really cool. And
he's like, my face!
Because that's his thing. His thing is his face, so she cuts it off. Because fuck that guy.
Then, this is like the point where I'm like, okay, we must be almost done soon.
Yeah.
And then Hugo gets a robot body.
Which he almost immediately... Because she is like, hey, I'm gonna go fight the bad guys now. Take it easy here.
Yeah, so she goes to fight the bad guys, and she defeats Ganushka. It turns out bad thing happened to Science Lady for helping her out.
Yeah, she gets caught, and it made me a little sad.
Yeah, she gets her brain removed because apparently that's the only way people get sent to Xantarum. Is to it be Nova's experiments.
Yeah. And that is kind of shitty.
Yep, and so then she asks to speak to... Because after Ganushka gets fucked up, Vector's all scared, and he's like, I don't know what you want. She's like, I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to him. And then Nova gets... He takes him over, and he's
Nova
like...
pulls through.
Yeah, and he's like... This is the first time we've met, and she's just like,
Alita.
I'm gonna fuck you up, and he's just like, I'm immortal, and apparently his philosophy is being immortal. The only thing that amuses him now is watching other people die.
Yeah,
because he's an asshole, I guess.
Yeah, he's an asshole.
And she stabs through Vector, and she's like, "You just lost a puppet." And he's like, "Oh, that looks fatal."
Yeah, he actually remarks like, "Oh, that looks fatal. That must suck." Is like his puppet like dies on the ground.
And then she finds out that Hugo is trying to climb the little tube things that connect up to the city and go up there, and she's like, "Shit, that's a bad idea." Because she had a flashback when she was back attacking the city 300 years ago.
Defense ring!
And they have these just saw blade things that fly down off of it.
Yeah, and they fuck things up.
And, yep, he gets fucked up, and she's trying to save him, and he's only got, like, a torso, and his arm's coming off, and she's trying to pull him up, and he's like, "Thank you."
Don't move. And it's like, what would he do? He literally has, like, no other body.
And he falls, he thanks her, but he falls and dies. And then it seems like, because the only person that's allowed to go to Xantrum seems to be the champion of the sport game thing.
Yeah, there's like the final champion. That's what they call it.
And so it seems like after this, it's the end of the movie, and she's devoting herself to becoming the champion. And the movie ends with her, because she takes the sword from the sword guy, so now it's her sword.
Yeah.
And she points it up at the city where Nova is, and then you finally see Nova, and it's Edward Norton.
It's fucking Edward Norton.
And he's just watching her, and he just smirks.
Because he's like, I'm the bad guy.
And it's like, maybe there'll be a sequel, but this is the one part where I'm like, oh, now I see it was an anime movie, because all anime end on read the manga to find out more.
Yeah.
And that's the plot of Alita Battle Angel, as awfully summarized as it could be.
Yeah, probably. Like, I don't think we could have done a worse job summarizing it.
It took us 30 minutes to just spew out just incoherent babble.
In almost no semblance of order. Just, like, out with facts and plots and things.
But now to talk about the stuff that we liked and disliked in the movie. I'll tell you what I disliked, the relationship part.
Me too.
It was not very good.
It was boring. Hugo is a terrible character.
He was your just basic, like I started as the bad guy, but I want to be good for you. But
he was a teen movie boy interest.
Yeah,
just cut and paste.
I am glad that he didn't. I'm glad he didn't stick around. That it was like, hey, he dies, and that fuels her desire to go and kick Nova's ass.
Yeah, because a lot of people get straight up murked in this movie.
Yeah, I'm glad Ito didn't die.
Me too.
Because I haven't read this, I'm like, father figure. Those never live.
Yeah. I was nervous that Black Nurse was going to die at one point, just because she seemed like so minor of a character.
That's true.
But I liked basically everyone else besides Hugo. I didn't really have any problems with anybody else.
And I felt that the movie had some, like, framing problems at some points, but I think they did the best they could with probably how much they had to squeeze in.
Yeah, it definitely felt like, oh shit, we have a lot of we've got a long series to get through to get to this point, but we have one movie to get there.
We have 2 hours.
Let's just go. Let's just do it. We'll go through what we have to.
Because I felt like at some points where I was thinking like, oh, this must be the end, like, the worst part with the Hugo thing was they do his death, like, twice, so the second time I'm already, like, about it.
Yeah.
Where you think he's gonna die in the church, where I actually felt that would have been a better place.
Yeah, because it would have been a final thing, and...
Because like, the second part, I was just like, now it's just Hugo's head.
Yeah. And he dies, like... It's only, like, 15 minutes after he dies the first time.
Yeah, it's very quick.
So it's like we don't even have time to get used to Hugo and his robot body before he dies again.
He just goes and just fucking dies again.
Yep. And I shed no tears.
No.
I didn't, because like Hugo, I don't like him. I don't like Hugo. I didn't find him very likable.
Yeah, I didn't dislike him. I just didn't find him really anything.
He was just a ragamuffin character.
I liked him in the earlier parts of the movie, where I almost kind of liked the whole, like, when they were kind of setting up the regular family dynamic, where it's like, oh, he's the bad boy that the dad doesn't want her to hang out with, so she's on the back of his motorcycle. So it's like, like a teen girl movie thing, but instead she's a cyborg.
Yeah.
And it's a dystopia.
She's almost a complete cyborg, except for her brain.
Yeah. What else did I not like?
I didn't really have anything that I didn't like, other than like the pacing issues and
the
Hugo.
relationship. Yeah. Some of the dialogue in this movie was bad.
Oh yeah.
There's a part in the earlier part of the movie where he's showing her how to play the sport, and they're just kids playing in like the streets and stuff, and she gets kind of. She gets kind of roughed up by one of the guys playing, and they're like, come on, she's new. And so then she does the same thing to the kid, and the dude gets up and he's like, your psycho girlfriend has some major malfunctions. And I'm like, that sounds like a 90s movie, like, dialogue. That's like bad
A
by
lot. It felt like a lot of the dialogue was ripped right out of the 90s.
I feel like anything that wasn't Ito or Vector, like scene, like basically any of like the smart people, like any of the kids,
Yeah.
was just bad dialogue.
Yeah. Cause like even the Hugo at one point is like, whose rules are you gonna play by? Are you gonna play by Ito's rules or your rules?
Yeah, that felt like something out of one of those movies too.
Yeah.
Dialogue was bad.
I feel like that part ties specifically
some
into
of
the
it.
relationship stuff.
Yeah, I think anything involving just the street kids is bad.
Yeah. But like
Or just
watching
not even bad, just weak.
Yeah, weak. That's a good way to put it. But
Because it is nice to see her having friends at some point that are like, I don't want to say her age because apparently she's over 300.
yeah, because she fought in the original war.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that is a nice aspect.
Things I did like, you know what? A lot of people, I saw a lot of people online criticize the eyes because they made her eyes bigger to be more like anime-like. I think it was fine. I barely
Yeah.
noticed it.
It really didn't bother me either. And part of my thoughts on Alita's look in general is like, it's okay if she doesn't look like a super realistic person.
Yeah, because she's a cyborg.
Yeah, she's not. She is objectively not a human being. And she's not even from Earth, we find out later. She's from Mars.
Yeah.
So it's fine. It doesn't really make that big of a difference. And I would say in general, a lot of the technical stuff was really good.
The designs are neat for the most part.
The designs were cool. I liked the music behind it. I liked the special effects and a lot of the technical camera work. I thought a lot of it was just really strong, particularly the designs on the robot people, because it was good to.
Yeah, I liked how a lot of the people in the race, I like how they had the race work with some of them.
Yeah, and
Like, I like how Buzzsaw guy was basically just like,
yeah,
or I actually did like the claw when they gave it to him. I didn't.
the claw was cool.
It was a little annoying when it got like into those 3D moments where it's like the
Yeah.
claw being slow.
Looks like some fucking 300 style.
I liked
stuff.
it when she was fighting Ganishka the second time though, and she was using the sword and she was just kind of like cutting the claw like before it
Yeah.
even reached her, just like.
That's another thing. The fight choreography is really strong in this movie.
Yeah, I did like when I liked it best actually when she was like hand-to-hand combat fighting when she was just
Yeah.
in the first body.
It was so good. Because, like, she is not necessarily a physically strong combatant, but she is a lot more agile and she
No,
knows.
she's strong. Like she can bust through shit.
She is strong, but she's not like Bruiser strong. She's like Ganishka level strong.
Yeah, that's true.
She more like knows where to hit people and uses technique and stuff.
Yeah,
and
that's
I
true.
thought that was really
she was
nice.
like the first time she breaks his first arm, she like hits him right in the joint with like a kick.
Exactly. She delivers that sweet ass flying axe kick and cuts his shoulder right off. Oh, another thing I thought was kind of doofy in the movie. She says "Hiya" twice. When she delivers the kick, she goes "Hiya," and I was just like, "Oh no! Why'd you have to do that?" And
she more Japanese.
She does it at another point. I forget exactly what it is, but it's a similar point where she has a flashback to her past, and she goes "Hiya," and I'm just like, "Why do we have to do it twice?" But at least they only do it twice, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't something that really bothered me.
It's just something that always bothers me because I was a kid in karate. I know what a ki is. But the fight choreography is really good. And just watching robots smash each other up is really cool.
Yeah, I liked the race, and I liked. I kind of wish she had more of a fight with the sword guy because I thought the sword was really cool.
Yeah, the sword was super cool. I wanted to see a little bit more of that.
I wanted him to get fucked up more because he can replace his face.
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
Because he was a dick.
I did kind of want him to get a little bit more. But like, I guess he's got to find another face, maybe. Unless I don't know. I don't know how that stuff works. But I would have liked a little bit more of a comeuppance.
Now here's the question: do you think it'll get a sequel? I think it's doing well right now in terms of like box office number, as far as like an anime movie was probably expected to do.
Yeah, I would say it pretty just straight up just comes down to how well it does.
Yeah. At the very least, I'm like, maybe I will read the manga at some point. Maybe.
Yeah.
Just kind of maybe, because the backlog's ever growing. We have a podcast where we watch 9 of the shows.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
I still got so much shit I gotta read anyway.
There's
basically
really just so
I'll put
much.
it on the backlog and I'll get to it in like 2023.
Yeah, we'll get to it in a couple of years, maybe.
Yeah.
But
I'll get to it by the time they make a sequel.
Yeah. I think this one just flat out, how much money does it make? I think that's what it comes down to on the sequel front. 'Cause like Hollywood doesn't give a shit about anime movies.
Did you watch the Ghost in the Shell movie?
I did.
Okay, because I did not, so I can't really compare. Like,
I would say the Ghost in the Shell movie was okay. It did a fine job as a Ghost in the Shell movie. It felt like a live action.
but do you feel, as
Ghost in the
far
Shell
as
movie.
like an anime movie went, this one did better?
Yeah. Well, see, it's still hard for me to categorize because, like, I can compare the Ghost in the Shell movie to the other Ghost in the Shell movies, but I haven't read any of the manga for this, so I can't be like, this one was fairly
How does this
accurate
compare
to
to
the original.
Dragon Ball Evolution?
This is so much better than Dragon Ball Evolution, because holy shit, was that bad.
I think that's the magnum opus of a bad anime movie. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think you could get worse than that.
Yeah.
Goku in an American high school.
Whoa, guys, I'm Goku.
Yeah. Again, with no frame of reference, I like the movie.
Yeah. It was
I don't love the movie.
Yes. It was a cool movie. If you want to watch a cool movie with pretty good special effects about robots that kick the shit out of each other.
Yeah, I was going to say, just if you want to watch robots with, like, blades and shit just fight.
Weird cyberpunk robot fights. This is your movie. This is it.
That's your film.
Yeah. So, if you enjoyed our banter on Alita Battle Angel, you should check out our podcast.
Yeah, because we
on the
talk
same
about
channel.
other stuff, and it's shorter, the show, so we can kind of summarize the plot a little better.
Yeah, it's a little more coherent.
And we're used to doing that one more, so our structure is a little better.
It's
not great, but it's better.
It's still better. That's also on this channel, and if you like this video, I'd tell you to, like and subscribe to it.
And maybe check out our Twitter at Protagonist Seat.
It's where we post updates and sometimes good memes and stuff.
Sometimes, not all the time.
Sometimes. I mean, you can't get a banger every time.
Yeah, get with them all.
Get
You
one
win some, you lose some.
But since I'm not sure if we actually introduced ourselves, which probably would have been a good idea
Yeah.
for a one-shot video.
But again, we never fucking know. Our structure's bad.
Poor structure and no planning. But I have been Ian, and it's nice to meet you. Hello.
And I have been Alex.
But anyway, check out our shit. Bye.
See ya.